Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to take up the third lesson of your book, Hornbill. The lesson, Discovering Tut, the Saga Continues, has been written by A.R. Williams. Although many people do not find such descriptive passages to be very interesting. But, children, if we are aware about the background of the story and about the background of the writer, it becomes not only easy to understand the text, but also makes the text quite interesting. So, before we move on with the lesson, let us understand what this descriptive piece of writing is all about. Well, A.R. Williams actually writes for National Geographic. She has written a number of articles relating to the ancient world, generally related to archaeological discoveries, and she herself has the degree of archaeology, which means she is an archaeologist herself. So basically, this one is also a piece of descriptive writing. That means it discusses a particular incident or person and describes it, but in a very interesting way. Now, the story that we are going to read is about Egyptian civilization. And when we talk about Egyptian civilization, the first thing that comes to our mind are its pyramids and mummies. What are pyramids really? Children, pyramids were tombs that were built for Egyptian kings. And in the pyramids, they did not bury the body only, which they preserved and called it a mummy. But with the mummy, they buried lot of treasure, including gold and gold artifacts and daily use things, because the Egyptians believed in afterlife. Afterlife means they believed that even after death, when the body is lost, the spirit can enjoy the next part of its journey, and he can do that if his daily use items and other things are buried with him in a better way, because he can use all of these in spite of being a spirit. This is the only reason why the mummy was also preserved, because they believed that they needed a body to do this, to enjoy that journey. Now, this chapter of yours is also about one such pyramid and mummy of a pharaoh called Tut. Pharaoh is one term that you're going to come across in the lesson again and again. Pharaoh is a term used for Egyptian kings. And this mummy was discovered in 1922 in the Valley of Kings. Valley of Kings is the place where Egyptians had buried their kings. This is the place where a number of pyramids of kings of great dynasties have been found. The picture on your screen is actually of the Valley of Kings and the tomb of Tut. Right? So, this is your background. This is about the Egyptian civilization, about pyramids, about a pharaoh called Tut. Well, students, now we are quite aware about the background of the story and the writer. The story is about Tut, one of the mummies that was discovered in 1922. Who is Tut actually? Tut is Tutankhaten, who was popularly known as Tut. He took over the reins of the kingdom after his father's death when he was just a boy. And he ruled only for 9 years, bringing some major changes during his rule, but then died accidentally and suddenly when he was just a teenager. So, when his tomb was discovered in 1922, it created a lot of sensation because the archaeologists wanted to know the cause and exact age at which Tut had died. But in 1922, forensic sciences were not so developed as to ascertain the exact age and cause of his death. It was only after 80 years of the discovery of the tomb that a CT scan was conducted on the mummy, and the answers to these two important questions, when and how did Tut die, were sought. Now, the chapter is actually divided into three sections if we need to understand it. So, We know Tut. Let us understand his background now. Well, Amenhotep III was his grandfather, and he was a great pharaoh and ruled for almost 40 years. He was very powerful, and it was during his rule that the dynasty was going through its golden period. Then, after his death, Amenhotep IV took over, who was his son. Amenhotep changed his name from Amenhotep to Akhenaten. Why? Because Egyptians worshipped one of the major gods, Amun. But Akhenaten prohibited them from doing so. He broke the temples of Amun, shifted his religious capital from Thebes to Amarna, and broke the idols of this major god. He insisted on worshipping Aten. Actually, he considered himself to be an incarnation of Aten. Then he died. People believed that he was behaving very strangely and had gone wacky. So when Tut took over, he brought about some major changes, although he was just a boy. He changed his name from Tutankhaten to Tutankhamun and restored the old ways of worship and religious beliefs. This was a great change brought by him, but then he died accidentally. This is about Tut and his background. Tut and his background. Now, when Howard Carter discovered the tomb, he first started studying the treasures that were found in the tomb. These treasures included gold artifacts, and also daily use things like board games, bronze, razor, linen, undergarments, cases of food, and wine. He studied all these things for months, and then he finally reached the place where the tomb actually was. He realized that the mummy was kept safe in three nested coffins. Three nested coffin means one coffin into another. On the first coffin, he found a shroud. Shroud is a cloth with which you cover a dead body, which was decorated with garlands of different kinds of flowers. These different kinds of flowers indicated that Tut probably died in the spring season, March or April. But when he came to the third coffin, it was quite a surprise. The coffin was made of solid gold, and the mummy also was wearing ornaments of gold like necklaces and amulets. His head was covered with a golden mask. Now, but this is where Carter's problems actually began. When Carter tried to pull the mummy out, he could not. He failed at it. Why? Because the mummy had been buried with a lot of raisins. The Egyptians used to bury the mummy with lots of raisins to keep the mummy soft. So these raisins had solidified, and the mummy had stuck to the base of the coffin. He even placed the coffin out in the scorching heat, assuming that the raisins would probably melt in the scorching sun, but it did not happen. He was left with no other option. He used sharp tools like the chisel and the hammer to bring the body out. And in order to take out the ornaments that the mummy was wearing, he had to disassemble the joints. He had to open the mummy from the joints. Later on, the mummy was placed back in a wooden box in its tomb. After around 40 years, an anatomy professor conducted an x-ray on the mummy and revealed that the front ribs and the breastbone of the mummy was missing. So the mystery intensified. Now it was more so assumed that probably Tut had not died a natural death. It was only in 2005, when the Egyptian Mummy Project began, that the CT scan was conducted under Zahi Hawass, and it was through the CT scan that the world came to know that everything was all right with the mummy, and Tut had probably died a natural death. The writer beautifully describes this scene, weaving scientific advancements and feelings and Egyptian beliefs together. She explains how, when the mummy was brought out, it was stormy and sandy. The CT scan machine stopped working. Manual fans, plastic fans had to be used to conduct the CT scan, but everything was all right in the end. All was end in the end, and this end has been beautifully described by the writer through a captivating imagery. The writer says that after the CT scan was performed, the mummy of Tut was placed back into its own tomb. Now the weather was quite clear, and the night sky showed glittering stars. And when the pallbearers came out, the constellation Orion was clearly visible. This holds symbolic significance because the Egyptians considered Osiris to be the god of afterlife, probably indicating that not only were the archaeologists satisfied and happy, but Tut was also happy to be back in his tomb, and he would rest in peace there for the coming time. As far as the theme of the story is concerned, since it is a descriptive piece of writing, the themes are quite obvious. It gives us a glimpse into the ancient Egyptian culture, especially about pyramids and mummies. It unravels the mystery that surrounds the tomb of Tutankhaten. Most important is that the chapter brings out the fact that science and archaeology has advanced enough to unravel the mysteries of the past. A beautiful lesson that describes and interweaves scientific advancements, past culture and beliefs, and emotions and the sense of curiosity of human beings all together. Coming over to the title is quite obvious, apt, and just. It is one of the most appropriate titles because obviously the story revolves around Tut and the mystery of his death. Moreover, saga means a long story about past events, and this story of Tut is about past events that continue into the modern times, and the mystery is solved and continuous discoveries are made on him. So, undoubtedly, it is one of the most appropriate titles chosen by the writer. Then we come to the characters. Undoubtedly, Tut is the major character of the story. In fact, he is the only one. A great king who died early, made some important decisions, became a mystery for the ancient as well as the modern world, was being studied for a very long time by the archaeologists, and finally he rested in his tomb with all his treasures and himself. Other than that, Zahi Hawass and Howard Carter are two people who are mentioned in the story. Zahi Hawass was the Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities. He was the one who headed the members who conducted that CT scan, and his seriousness about the issue is obvious when he tells his colleagues that he was not able to sleep peacefully the previous night. Howard Carter definitely holds importance. He holds importance because he is credited with the discovery of the tomb and the handling of the mummy initially, and the initial studies as well. Although he faced criticism for the way he handled the mummy and disassembled it, but he says in his defense that he had no other option. If he hadn't done it, the thieves would have robbed the tomb and the mummy. I hope the lesson is quite clear now.